Hey everybody, welcome to Callous Fight Night. This is a good one. Unlike some of the other matches, these are two legitimate SPL level ADV players. Defending champion Eden's Embrace playing on Sparkling Dream against Posse G, the first player to make a return appearance to Callous Fight Night. The RN Jesus selected him, and here he is. He was in our inaugural match to find our initial champion against Marco P. Posse did not win that game, but here he is back in the ring, fighting against Eden's Embrace, trying to take down the title, and Eden looking for the title defense. These guys are good to go. Here's the switch off, and here comes Claydol. Again, Eden's Embrace is Sparkling Dream on the top. It's going to be an immediate Thunderbolt blanked by a Claydol. We've got a classic Doll team going on here, and Posse looks to have a mid-range offense, possibly a baton pass mini chain with the Zapdos and the Celebi, but an immediate critical hit on the explosion that very well may have mattered. I don't think that the explosion kills without the crit, but there also may have been a Dugtrio in the back for Sparkling Dream. It makes a lot of sense, both with the Boom Doll and also with the lead Scarm that is begging for a Magneton. You would think that there's probably a Dugtrio in the back to kill the Magneton if that were to happen. So we now have a new Pokemon for Eden. That's going to be a T-Tar. Here's Zapdos, baton passing out. T-Tar staying in indicates a Rock Slide or an Ice Beam. It is, in fact, a Rock Slide. Either one would have been resisted by this Metagross, and Meta does have lefties. He goes Meteor Mash here. Critical hit now for Posse. 45%, good chunk on the Scarm on the way in, going to immediately boom to deny spikes, and Eden is going to have to play without spikes this game. We've got ourselves a very fast fight night so far. We're only 6 turns in, and we've got ourselves a 4-4 situation. This might end up being a pretty quick video. And again, Posse goes back to Zapdos. And again, Eden goes back to T-Tar. Is there another Rock Resist somewhere for the obvious Rock Slide? As it turns out, there is. It's going to do 23%. There's a Swampert. Here comes Vaporeon to counter it. Going to absorb, not that it's relevant at 100%, but Water absorb the Hydro Pump here. And Zapdos comes back. Swampert did have lefties, so it's not Endeavor Pert or some kind of funky set. And there's a nice Surf for 42% on the way in. That's the real deal for damage. He'll protect here to find Thunderbolt. We have no electric resistance or community that we know about for Eden, but there's Blissey. She'll do the job just fine. 19% is the answer, and almost certainly it'll be another baton pass out for Posse. Gonna protect first to see if there's a little bit of scouting to be done. Find Seismic Toss, pretty generic, no surprise. Thunderbolt or Flamethrower, something like that, is just S-Toss so far. Both waiting here. Ooh, Kratos Mana here is making the guest appearance, making the cameo on the channel. I don't know who Pushing the Sky is. That might be somebody's alt. But hi, Kratos Mana. Thanks for checking out the game. So, 2 unrevealed for Posse on the bottom, 1 unrevealed for Sparkling Dream top side. There could definitely still be a setup sweeper for Posse G somewhere in the back. I could totally see a DD-Tar or a Gengar, or, I mean, Gengar is not a traditional setup sweeper, but if it were intended to be a Combine pass chain with the Celebi and possibly the Zapdos, then it's possible that there's a special sweeper like a Gengar in the back. But like I said, I can also see a DD-Tar. Maybe a Mixed Ments is another possible thing that you could be passing to. We'll see. But for the first time in the game, we have a little bit of a pause. Both players figuring out what to do. Blissey's safe here, and I doubt she switches. Zapdos here is probably just going to baton pass out. The question becomes to what? What Blissey showed last turn was Seismic Toss, which theoretically isn't overly threatening to anyone, but what Posse might be thinking about here is if Eden were to switch it up to Ice Beam or to Toxic or something like that, does Posse need to be careful about what he switches in here? For example, if you went to Swampert and it gets hit with a Seismic Toss, who cares? If it gets hit with Toxic and it does not have Refresh, that on the other hand is a bit of a bigger deal. Or same thing, if he switches the wrong thing into an Ice Beam or a Flamethrower here, that's also a problem. He might not have a Natural Cure Poke or a Toxic immunity now that the Celebi and the Metagross are both down. So Posse might be thinking about here about what might get hit with a Toxic. That doesn't happen. He does go to Swampert, and it is just Seismic Toss. And there's no Toxic here either. Vaporeon comes in. Earthquake 25%. Earthquake again 28% now. There's Surf 36% back. Swampert is faster here. Yet to be determined if Vaporeon has Wish Recovery, but almost always it will. And I believe, yeah, he showed Protect earlier too, so there's no way that he's going to have Protect but not have Wish. So he's going to Protect here for the sake of keeping it for himself. Posse's going to get to bring something in on the Protect turn. Still unclear as to what his last two pokes are. I would think there's a DD Tar, or at least some kind of Tar, somewhere in the back. Not sure what the other poke's going to be. Posse figuring out what to BP to. It's been on these pause turns, which there haven't been too many of. We got off to a really fast start in this game, but on the pause turns, it's been Posse taking the time. And apparently he didn't want to baton pass there. Interesting. Well, it's already locked in now, and we're certainly not recreating the game, so the baton pass is going to happen. Just a matter of to who. He doesn't appear to have an amazing switch here based on what we've seen, but there are still two unrevealeds. But the Zapdos is not fantastic in this situation, nor can he stay in. But I mean, it's going to be hard for the Zapdos to switch back in because the Surfs do so much. And then the Swampert took some decent damage getting hit with the Vaporeon earlier. So I don't know that that really wants to come in either. I mean, it's safe on this turn because we already know it's a Protect turn. But the question is, what do you do after? And Posse does just go to the Swampert and get it some lefties back. That's fine, but Swampert does not win the one-on-one from this position. So the question is, what do you do now? That's probably what Posse was thinking about. How do I follow up? What switches into Vaporeon? And he's going to opt to stay in and go for Earthquake. 25%, which is about what it was doing last time. Maybe it's on the low end of the damage roll. But the real question, yeah, well, how do you follow up? And Sparkling Dream, Sunny, goes for the Wish here, being conservative with the Vaporeon. He might be recognizing that this Pokemon seems to be a bit difficult for Posse to deal with. He can check it offensively in this way. The Zapdos is obviously going to scare the Vaporeon out, no doubt about that. But switching into the Vaporeon seems to be an issue for Posse here. Eden with the first lead of the game, first meaningful lead anyway. Early on, there were a couple of quick trades, but we've got ourselves a 4-3. There are, again, still two unrevealed for Posse. I still think there's a setup sweeper. There could be a DD Tar or something like that. And if that is the case, then Posse absolutely still has a chance to win by setting up the right Pokemon, whether it's a Coon or a Tar or whatever it ends up being. Last poke setup sweeper is absolutely dangerous for Posse here. Sunny must be aware of that. And I still suspect that the last Pokemon for Eden's Embrace is just going to be Dugtrio. Given the lead Scarm, begging for the Magneton, given the Boom Doll, it just makes a lot of sense to me. And also, look at the team. It's so unbelievably Heracross weak if he doesn't have last poke Dugtrio. It just has to be in my mind. It has to be. So I'm very confident that's going to be the last poke for Eden. For Posse, I think it's Cheetar and X, and I'm not clear as to what the X is going to be. So we end up with Blissey on Zapdos. Zapdos has not shown its last move. Thunderbolt, Baton Pass, Protect. I mean, you would think that it's Hidden Power, but because it has Protect, which is a little bit sketchy, without something to abuse it with, maybe it's simply a catch-all, last move Toxic, as opposed to a Hidden Power, which hits Swampert or Flygon or all the things that you would be targeting with Hidden Power reasonably well. It could be that. I could see it being that. There is the T-Tar that I thought would be there for Posse G. What kind of T-Tar it is yet to be determined, but both T-Tars come in at the same time. And I don't believe, yeah, the only thing shown from either one is those two Rock Slides earlier from Eden's Embrace. Posse hasn't shown a damn thing beyond that, and Rock Slide doesn't rule a lot out. Rock Slide could be still a substitute set, a mixed set, a DD set. Could be 3 attacks, could be 4 attacks, 3 plus Roar, could be Rock Slide plus Fire Blast, HP Grass Crunch, something like that. Could be a substitute. I mean, there's so many things it could be. Rock Slide does not tell you a whole heck of a lot. Critical moment here where either poke could set up and be very, very dangerous here. Bulky Water's down for Posse G, so I mean, for him, I think it might be a little more straightforward. He might just have to go for it. For Eden, it's a little bit less clear. If it is, in fact, Last Poke Dugtrio, then Eden might be debating immediately going to that right now. Especially if it's Adamant Dugtrio, he might just come in and just go for the cheesy one-hit KO. He obviously doesn't want to switch it in to an Ice Beam or an Earthquake or something like that. Alright, so it's an Earthquake for Sparkling Dream for what I suspected earlier, and it is, in fact, a CB Tar. And that is going to survive the +1 Earthquake for Posse G, and that bodes really poorly for Posse. His last poke is a surprise Charizard here, which is going to have to clean up this game for him, because he is down to that and the Zapdos only against the 4-man army of Sparkling Dream that is Eden's Embrace. Both pokes have lefties. Hidden Power Grass there, 33%. Wish comes down. Protect is obvious here, and there doesn't look to be anything Posse can do to capitalize on that. A Swords Dance or something behind the sub, there's no way when he has HP Grass. And I don't think Charizard learns that, but it could have been Dragon Dance or whatever. You get the point. But anyhow, Hidden Power Grass, crit going to be necessary. There it comes, there's a Wish. Vaporeon appears to be successfully stalling out the Charizard here. Protect coming down again. Vaporeon very healthy. He's well out of range of even a critical hit. Should that occur here, this seems to be bad news bears for Posse G. He might have to fish for a burn with a fire attack. Vaporeon comfortable at this point to go for Surf and pop the sub. Critical hit opportunity here that would have knocked it out, but it doesn't come. Hidden Power and Wish respectively. Almost certainly a Protect turn unless he has the balls to go for Surf here. Might be a Protect and a sub respectively. It's very greedy. It's got to be a throw, in fact, to not go for Protect here. Even if you think Posse's going to capitalize on it and sub up, I think you still have to Protect here, because how much of a donkey are you if you simply lose your Vaporeon on this turn when you do not have to? It is, in fact, the obligatory Protect. Posse capitalizes on it with the substitute, but Vaporeon is once again out of range to where even a critical hit would do it. It doesn't come. There's 35% and Wish, respectively. Vaporeon is going to be almost full health when he Protects here. And there's the obligatory Hidden Power, but Vaporeon clearly winning this fight right now. Posse is going to need a Blaze Range critical hit, Fire Blast or Overheat or something along those lines in order to power through this Vaporeon. And then there's the even bigger picture issue of how are you dealing with the Blissey. Zapdos is not going to beat it. Charizard maybe could have beaten it with Focus Punch, but that is no longer a thing. Posse appears to be dead to rights here. There is the kill on the Vaporeon finally, but the thing put in immense work this game. And now the Zapdos will need to find a way to beat the Blissey. That's going to start with Para, full Para. That does not happen. There is the Soft-Boiled. Eden appears to have defended his crown. Posse going through the motions, fishing for Para, full Para, has not found it. He's going to have to find it here, or the next Seismic Toss will end the game. There's the Thunderbolt. There's Para, but not full Para, and it is going to not be enough. Seismic Toss takes it out. The last poke that I suspect to be Dugtrio is never revealed for Eden, and he will successfully defend his crown. Despite two different attempts by Posse G to claim the Fight Night Championship, he will come up short in both, and he is not yet a Fight Night champion. Eden's Embrace will remain the champion. He's going to defend his title against another challenger next week, and here comes the fun part where we find out exactly who that is going to be. So let's come on down here. I always tell myself, and I never end up doing it, that I should total these things up beforehand, but I never do. Alrighty, 8, 16, 24, 32, 39, 45, 50, 55, 59, 63, 67, 68 is what I came up with there. Let's do that one more time. 16, 24, 32, 39, 45, 50, 55, 59, 63, 67, 68. Alrighty, 68 is the magic number. So Random number generator. You guys know how we roll. We're going to pick some astronomically high number that it's not going to land on. And then we're going to change it over to 1 through 68. We're only going to do it once. Whatever it lands on, it lands on. Poof. We've got number 15. That is going to be Zomog. Zomog is going to be in the arena next week. It's going to be Zomog against Eden's Embrace for Callous Fight Night next week. That should absolutely be a good one. Look forward to that. And also, we're going to be doing a Pokemon talk today, and also Pokemon Perfect's relaunch, which I will be overseeing, is going to be coming in just a matter of weeks. In fact, the signups for the very first 2020 Pokemon tournament are going to be up next weekend. So keep an eye out. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming in the world of Pokemon. Stay tuned.